Check this trick out. Usually with Area 0, you have to send a card to grave in order to add a Sky Striker card to hand. But did you know you can do this instead? Did you understand what happened? Why did I get a card from Area 0 despite Ray not being sent to the graveyard? If you're not sure why this works the way it does, stick around. This video was made for you. Hey Master Duelist, what's going on? My name's Rednew. When I did this little trick on my Twitch stream, which you should check out, I got a couple questions asking why this happened. So I wanted to make this video to explain to new players a few core concepts of Yu-Gi-Oh! And why this trick works. I know with Master Duel, there are a lot of new and returning players out there that are having trouble understanding Yu-Gi-Oh! Since it's a complex game. So I'm making this video and may turn it into a series to cover the basics. If you want to see more of this type of content, let me know in the comments below. Like this video if you learned something neat, and subscribe for more Master Duel content. Let's get in the video. So there's a lot of things happening here, and I like this example a lot because it'll let me go over a few important topics that I think every player should know and understand, which are 1. How to read card effects, 2. What quick effects are, 3. How chains work, and finally 4. How it all ties together in this neat little trick. Make sure you're using the timestamps below. Skip around because I know I'm going to be covering a lot. How to read card effects. This is Sky Striker Airspace Area 0. It's a field spell that reads, you can target one other card you control, semicolon, excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add one excavated Sky Striker card to your hand. Also, shuffle the rest into the deck. Then, if you excavated a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. It's important to recognize off the bat that this effect can be portioned into 2 major sections, separated by that semicolon. The cost and the resolution. Everything that is stated before the semicolon is the cost. Everything after is the resolution, until we hit the end of the sentence, which is indicated by a period. The next text is just another effect, which isn't relevant to this example, so let's ignore it for now. Excavate is just a keyword here, meaning simply to check the top cards of your deck, and in this case it says to excavate 3. Sky Striker players use Area 0 and this effect to add a useful Sky Striker card to their hand. However, it usually results in them sending something they control to the graveyard. Sometimes an effect's resolution has conditions in them. There's actually 2 conditions in this text, but we'll focus on the last one highlighted here. This condition says, if you excavated a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. Well, wait a minute. We did excavate a Sky Striker card in the example, but Ray didn't go to the graveyard because of an active dimensional fissure, which states that any card that would be sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So if Ray didn't go to the grave like Area 0 said it would, why were we able to add the card? The answer is that sending the targeted card to the graveyard is not a condition that must be met in order to add the Sky Striker card. We can see this clearly if we order the events that occur during resolution in the order that it reads. 1. Excavate the top 3 cards. 2. If you did excavate, add an excavated Sky Striker card to hand. 3. Shuffle the rest into the deck. And finally 4. If you excavated a Sky Striker card, send the targeted card to the graveyard. So we can see that adding the Sky Striker card comes before sending the targeted card to the graveyard. Meaning, whatever happens to the targeted card has nothing to do with adding the excavated card, because we had already added it. But what if we reworded Area 0? Let's reword it to, you can target one other card you control. excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, send the targeted card to the graveyard, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated Sky Striker card to your hand. Also shuffle the rest into the deck. If Area 0 was worded like this, we can write the events in order like last time. 1. Excavate the top 3 cards. 2. Send the targeted card to the graveyard. 3. If you did, add an excavated Sky Striker card to hand. 4. Shuffle the rest into the deck. Now, in order to add the excavated Sky Striker card, it says it can only be done if we had sent the targeted card to the graveyard in the previous step. This would invalidate our trick. Since Ray wouldn't be sent to the graveyard, we would not be able to add the card. So to sum, the only thing necessary to add the card with Area 0, given how it actually is written, is for us to pay the cost, which again is only to target another card we control. Whether that targeted card is sent to the grave or not has nothing to do with adding the excavated card to hand. So that's how you read Area 0, but what about Ray? Ray's effect says, Quick Effect. You contribute this card, special summon 1 Sky Striker Ace monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. This is a powerful effect because it allows Ray to dodge certain effects and replace herself with an extra deck monster. The cost is to tribute Ray, and the resolution is to special summon a Sky Striker Ace monster from our extra deck. However, it's important to note that there is an additional piece to our standard formula of cost, resolution, and that is the first part in parenthesis, which indicates the following effect is a special type of effect known as a quick effect. So what the heck is a quick effect? A quick effect can be activated on either player's turn, during any phase, and as any part of a chain that doesn't follow a counter trap card. Normal spell cards, ignition monster effects, and ignition-like spell effects can only be activated on your turn during your main phases, and thus can only be Chain Link 1. So in our example, we first activate Area 0's effect. This is an ignition-like effect. Then, once we have paid the cost and created Chain Link 1, the game will ask the opponent, then you, if you'd like to activate anything in response. Since Ray's effect is a quick effect, we are able to respond to Area 0's effect with Ray, and create a Chain Link 2 with Ray's quick effect. So what isn't a quick effect? The most obvious example is Area 0's effect. If your opponent were to play any card, you cannot respond with Area 0's effect because it's an ignition-like effect, not a quick effect. Other examples are Raigeki or Monster Reborn. Since these spell cards are normal spells and not quick play spells, they can only be activated on their own and create Chain Link 1. They cannot be used to respond to other cards or effects, thereby being Chain Link 2, 3, so on and so forth. Because of how chains work, this means that they will always try to resolve last, meaning ignition effects are slow, and by comparison, quick effects are a lot faster. We'll cover chains in a little bit. Examples of quick effects that you are probably overly familiar with are Max C, Ash Blossom, and Effect Veiler. You are always able to use these cards to respond to other activations, provided their conditions are met. Like for example, Effect Veiler needs a monster to target. And it's important to note that some cards, like Max C, do not explicitly say their effect is a quick effect. This is because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an old game, and only after a certain point decided it was best to have a term for an effect that can be activated on either player's turn. Some cards are updated to include this distinction, and some older cards like Max C, which never received this update, don't. Generally speaking, any effect with explicit text that says during either player's turn, or anything similar, are quick effects. So roll it back really quick. What is a chain? In our example, we activate Area 0's effect. This creates a chain with its effect as Chain Link 1. Immediately after, the game will ask the opponent if they'd like to activate something in response and create a Chain Link 2. Since our opponent is a computer, or doesn't have cards to respond with, the game will immediately ask you if you'd like to respond with anything. We respond with activating Ray's effect, paying the cost to tribute her. After this, the opponent is given an opportunity to respond again. Since they are unable to respond with anything, and in turn, we are unable to respond with anything, the game will move to resolve the chain. The order of resolving the chain is important, and we'll see here that since Ray was activated last, her effect will resolve first, then Area Zero's effect. In all cases, the game will resolve the chain in order from the chain link with the highest number to the chain link with the lowest number. Let's go over one more quick example. I begin my main phase by playing Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, so that I can search my deck for a Sky Striker card. Since I'm adding a card to my hand, my opponent responds with Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, paying the cost of discarding her from their hand and wanting to negate the effect of me adding a card to my hand. Because I have Called by the Grave, I am able to respond, targeting Ash Blossom as cost. When we both no longer wish to add any cards or effects onto the chain, the game moves to resolve the chain. Called by the Grave resolves first, banishing Ash Blossom and negating its effect. Ash Blossom attempts to negate my Engage, but since its effects were already negated by my Called by the Grave before it resolves, it does not. Finally, my Engage resolves without fail, since it was not negated by Ash Blossom, and I am able to search my deck for a Sky Striker card. So the reason why this trick works is simple when you break it down. Let's first describe the events. First, we activate Area Zero's effect, targeting Ray as part of its cost. This creates Chainlink 1. Then, we activate Ray's quick effect to special summon a Sky Striker extra deck monster, tributing herself as cost, adding onto the chain as Chainlink 2. Once the opponent and we say we don't want to add anything onto the chain, the game moves the chain to resolve, and does so in order of the highest Chainlink number to the lowest. Ray's effect special summons the Link monster, and Area Zero then excavates the top 3 cards, adds a Sky Striker card among them to hand, shuffles the deck, then attempts to send the targeted card Ray to the graveyard. Since Ray is no longer on the board, nothing else happens. While most uses of Area Zero will result in that targeted card being sent to the grave, it is not a condition in order to add the excavated card. Ray's quick effect works very well with Area Zero, since it allows you to keep a strong monster on the board as opposed to sending Ray or any other card you control to the graveyard. Now, let's take a quick look at a counterexample of a card that won't give you its beneficial effects because a condition is set before it. Let's take a look at a simple card like Gemini Spark. Gemini Spark reads, tribute 1 face-up level 4 Gemini monster, then target 1 card on the field. Destroy it, and if you do, draw 1 card. Here we see the condition to draw the card is to destroy the card targeted as cost when Gemini Spark resolves. If the card you targeted was somehow destroyed or otherwise removed from the field before Gemini Spark resolves, you will not draw the card. This can easily be done if your opponent chains onto Gemini Spark with an effect that destroys the card targeted by it. Thanks for watching, and I hope this trick and my explanation helps you guys in learning and understanding Yu-Gi-Oh! Better. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a complex game, and because we are playing on Master Duel, the reasons why things happen are going to be glossed over and leave many players confused. Understanding all the topics discussed here will allow you to think about how different cards are worded and have a good understanding of how the game will play out before committing yourself to making a decision, thereby losing a duel. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics you want me to cover, please leave a comment below. Like the video if you learned anything, and again, subscribe for more Master Duel content. Thanks again.